Hello guys, Crispy here, welcome back to another video. In this one, my friends, I'm going to be testing a GeForce RTX 4070 Super in Red Dead Redemption 2. This one is the Founders Edition model of the card. We are running it with the latest Nvidia drivers as usual, and I'm not manually overclocking it. You can see all of its specs right here in Tech Power-Ups. GPU 0 sizable bar is also enabled, and over on the left, we're pairing it with a Ryzen 9 7950X3D with half of its cores disabled, so it's basically the same as Ryzen 7 7800X3D, which is a very good pairing for this GPU, and 32 gigabytes of DDR5 6000 MHz RAM in dual channel as well. Let's get into it, shall we? As usual, let's go over the settings first. I'm starting at 1080p resolution, and I'm also going to test this one at 1440p, 4K, and 8K resolutions, maybe even higher with resolution scaling. And I'm using the ultra settings here, but the manual ultra settings, because I manually set everything to the maximum, aside from this one right here. But later on in the video, if the card starts struggling a bit, I will be using the auto ultra settings preset, which is just the quality level preset set to the maximum there, which doesn't max out a lot of the settings. Anyway, moving on, let's play it at 1080p Ultra. And here we have it. What the actual hell? I was expecting so much better, especially because with the auto settings, the auto ultra settings, right? I was getting around 115 frames per second at 1440p resolution, and this is 1080p right now. This is how intensive this game is if you manually set everything to the maximum, guys. It gets really, really intensive on the GPU side of things, and it shows. A 4070 Super is roughly 3090 performance, yet it's getting like 70 FPS. Apparently, I'm also going to lower the settings at 1440p, not only at the 4K resolution. I thought it was going to do a little bit better than this, and maybe even at 1080p as well, okay? So let's try out some different settings at different resolutions right here, okay? Today, for flipping hell. Roach, why? Alright, around here we get 100-ish frames per second, but the most intensive thing when you have everything maxed out is actually the water physics setting. Roach! Seriously, what are you doing? Is he fine? Guys, please, come on, buddy. We can do this, yes? We can do this. Come over here. Yeah, there we go. All right, thankfully the train didn't come this time around. But yeah, since the water physics are super intensive in this game and we have them maxed out here using these settings, it actually drops quite a lot near water. Now, again, like if you use the ultra settings preset, not manual ultra settings, it will run absolutely fine. I mean, it is running absolutely fine. It's just a little bit lackluster for such an expensive GPU, right? But it will look pretty much the same while getting way higher FPS, like almost double the performance of what we're seeing here. It's kind of insane, actually. And here we have it, guys. It instantly starts dropping FPS as soon as water is on screen. Actually, water doesn't even need to be on screen. It just needs to be close to you, and the FPS start dropping by quite a bit. Here we are, Strawberry Town, dropping down into the low 70s. Oh my god, it will actually drop from 70, actually. Yep, there we go, 69, 67 FPS. Oh boy, come on, not even 69 on the 1% lows, my friends. That would have been perfect, right? But okay, yep, these settings are super intensive. See how much more powerful something like a 4080 Super is compared to this card. I tested that GPU like a month ago or so in Red Dead Redemption 2, and it was getting like these FPS but at 4K resolution using these settings. So let's go up to 1440p here in Strawberry. Here we have it, 2560 by 1440 using exactly the same maximum settings. Actually, I'll call these maximum settings and the other ones ultra settings. It makes sense, right? Because it's the ultra preset after all. Okay. Oh boy, it will drop from 60 FPS. Now, if you compare this to something like the 6700 XT, that GPU was also getting around these FPS, but it was on the ultra preset, not the maximum settings. So that's why some people sometimes in the comments are saying, oh, well, my 4070 Super is doing much better. Well, you're not at the same settings or at the same place, okay? Anyway, as you can see, it still hasn't dropped from 60 FPS, but there we go. We got 59 right there. It's not a major problem, though. It's still going to be a really good experience since it's getting like 60 to 70 most of the time around this strawberry town, right? Even with the river and stuff. 61 right there, 62, 60... 58. I guess if you have an overclocked version of the 4070 Super that consumes a bit more power and gets a bit higher clocks, like the Palette Jetstream OC that I tested in the channel at 4K, I guess it will get 60 plus FPS 100% of the time without you touching manual overclocks and stuff like that. But again, that consumes a bit more power. It goes up to like 240, 250 watts, and this is a 220 watt GPU. All right, let's stop it right there. You can expect 60 plus outside of town areas and river areas, and even like 80 plus probably if you get really far away from a river, you know. It's fine, it's just not what I'm looking for on a $600 GPU, so I would lower the settings. All right, anyway, let's move on to 4K resolution, test it for a little bit here at the max settings, and then play at the more adequate ultra settings preset. All right, here we go. 3840 by 2160 max settings. Well, it's almost max settings. I still have the 3 tessellation turned off because that lowers the FPS by like another 10-15 frames. So yeah, it's very intensive, and as you can see, well, there's not that big of a difference compared to 1440p in terms of the FPS. We got like 60 to 70 most of the time at 1440. Here we're getting like 50 FPS. Usually you'd see a bigger difference in frames comparing 1440p with the 4K resolution, because 4K is much higher, you know. Oh, look at that, an eagle right there. Beautiful stuff, this game, man. It feels really alive, you know. It's not 60 FPS. Well, now it is 60 FPS. Great stuff. So if you're not looking at the river, you can actually achieve 60 frames per second. And it's not locked, although it seems like it is. If I look at the sky, it goes up, of course. Again, it's maxed out settings. This is getting very similar performance to my 3080 Ti when I tested it at these same settings, you know. And I remember seeing a lot of videos. Who is screaming in this direction? What the hell? Back when this game released, actually no, back when the 30 series released with the 3090, getting around these FPS as well, maybe a little bit higher at 4K resolution with the maximum settings. So it's not a case where the 4070 Super is so much worse than the 30 series, like I see sometimes people say, you know. No, it's just that 30 series, when they came out, we got a really huge jump in performance across the board, like from the 3070 to the 3090, and in the 40 series we only really saw that with like 4080 and up. Now we're getting 51 right there, yeah, on average. 41, 1% low, so I don't think it dropped into the 30s. Okay, yeah, it's a little bit better than what I was expecting. What are you doing? What are you doing? You bastard! Break free! Break! I want to break. Okay, you know what? You know what? Do you really want to do this? Do you really want to do this? All right, I thought so. Shot in the head. Let's go. Okay. Oh, he pooped. He pooped. That's a massive poop, bro. What are you doing? What? Okay. Well, that's exactly what I wanted to do, because now we will play at some little bit of lower settings. Okay, let's take a look at what changes here. So I'm just gonna turn this down a little bit and turn it up again. And as you can see, this used to be on ultra, now it's on high. This as well. This is on medium now. It was on ultra previously. But down here is where you find the most changes. So this is it. Let's go. And here we have it, guys. Look at the difference. In terms of graphics, it's basically the same as previously at 1080p resolution, but in terms of FPS, instead of getting 70, we're getting 120. Almost double, as I told you. Kind of crazy, right? And the water physics are still there, you know? It's not like they're gone. It still moves a lot and has ripples and stuff when you move through water like this, and it looks great overall. So if if you want that higher refresh rate experience at 1080p resolution, just go ahead, set it to the Ultra preset. You could get even higher FPS with minimal loss in performance if you use like hardware unboxed optimized settings, for example, but there's absolutely no need to do that with a 4070 Super. Anyways, moving on over here, we're getting like 120s. Apparently, it doesn't really drop too much close to rivers, only if you have the... Roach, come on, every single time. Why you gotta do this to me, mate? Let's go over here. I wish I could have like a cheat code, for example, to make Roach not stop ever and not get tired, and also to make him not stop ever. That's the first thing that I said. Okay, but yeah, moving on. 130s. There's Bob finally. Okay, let's do this. This is the high point of the video and the game as well. If you come by here near the Strawberry Town, please make sure to do this because Bob is a very bad person, of course. Let's go. I love hearing him scream. Oh yes. It's music to my ears, my friends. Over here, it drops down into the 110s. Still buttery smooth experience. Well, that's it. Roach, I need you. God damn it. Okay. Let's start shooting people around. Roach, don't run away from me. Leave me alone. Okay. Come over here, boy. Get over here. That's not how you call horses, right? But it doesn't matter. Please don't die. Oh, boy. It's all good. Oh, yes. Oh, look at that. 120s right here. Very good. 110s again. Can I heal myself? Please? No, I don't have any remedies left. Okay. Yeah, it is buttery smooth. 0 stutters. 1% lows are very close to... That's Bob's poop right there once again. 1% lows are very close to the average FPS that we're seeing. So that's a great experience, guys. I mean, nothing to complain about right now. Let's go up to 1440p. Here we go, 2560 by 1440, same ultra preset. Start counting our FPS. Previously, we were seeing around 60 FPS around here, 60 to 70 most of the time with a few drops. Remember, it dropped to like 57, 58 probably. But now, it's absolutely buttery smooth and it won't drop ever, basically. It's closing in on 100 FPS. There we go, touching 100 FPS right now. Alright, come on, go, stop it. That's a lot of guns. Roach, don't. Damn it. Okay. Well, this is for the best, probably. Let's start counting our FPS again. There's Roach waiting for us. Everything is all right again. Nobody hates us and is shooting at us. It's all because of Bob, Like, Bob is the reason why everybody was so mad at me previously. That bastard. Anyway, around here, closing in on 100 FPS once again. And touching that actually and going above it as well, and I guess outside of towns like this one it will get even higher FPS, probably like 110 or something like that. So it's a very good performance, guys. It's not gonna max out like 120 hertz or 144 hertz or higher than that, obviously, but it's still going to feel very smooth and much smoother than like a 60 hertz panel. Oh boy, I have one of them hairs like Superman. All right, around here, lots of vegetation, 100 frames per second, not a problem. And again, since the water physics aren't really maxed out, it doesn't drop FPS near the river. So everything will be absolutely smooth and all right at 1440p using these settings. It's such a difference, right? We got like 40 FPS higher or so. Not on average, but overall, it's like 35 to 40 FPS higher than it was at the complete maximum settings, aside from 3 tessellation, which would drop things even more. So, alright, I think that's about it, right? Also, there is DLSS support in the game that I'm not testing here in this video because DLSS in Red Dead Redemption frankly sucks. So, just lower the settings a little bit, get higher performance, don't bother with DLSS. What is that one doing over there? Oh, there we go. He bugged out of there. Okay, let's stop it right there, guys, and let's go up to 4K resolution. But the weather is a little bit weirder, so I think I'm gonna load the previous save again. Right, here we go. 3840 by 2160. Same settings here, of course. Didn't change anything other than the resolution. And we are in a bit of a different area now. We're gonna go to Saint Denis this time around, the bigger city, which is actually less intensive than Strawberry, but I don't care really. Strawberry gets around the same FPS as over here because of the water, you know? And it's getting like 60s, which is pretty good. Sorry about the screen tearing, by the way. It's just capture card things, you know? Oh my gosh, this game is so beautiful. Just standing still right here, guys. Look at this. Look at the graphics. And look at all of the particles flying around and stuff. It is so gorgeous. Is motion blur enabled? It might actually be. I might have forgotten to disable it. It's not obnoxious, though. I'm kind of liking it. I'll need to check. Maybe it's not enabled. It's just TAA doing TAA things. No, it is enabled. Seriously? Like, it usually looks like crap, but in this game, it's not too bad. Alright, anyways, sorry about that. Let's start counting our FPS and go to Saint Denis this time around. So apparently it's going to get like 60-ish FPS most of the time, but it might drop in some scenarios, right? Since it's like at 67 FPS on average at the moment. Probably gonna get like 65 at the end of this. So it's safe to say that if you come across a little bit of a more intensive area, it will drop by a little bit, unfortunately. Around here, everything's fine though. Around 70 actually. This is Saint Denis, although you can't really see it very well because there's a lot of fog at the moment. But I think there's a Bob in this town as well. We definitely gotta check that out. Also, it's dropping a little bit here, 60 FPS. It might actually dip down to like 50s sometimes. Yeah, it's safe to say, if it was like 70 plus FPS all of the time, at least so far, and dropping to like 67 here in town, it would probably be safe to say it's a 60 plus FPS experience all of the time. But since it already touched 60 FPS, it might drop here and there. It's not a problem though, especially if you have like a G-Sync monitor. It's gonna feel great anyways, and if you play with the controller, even better. You can't really feel those drops. And I see Bob. Oh yes, come on, Roach, don't give up right now. We need to kill that bastard. No, stop looking at the girls, Arthur. What the hell? There he is. There he is. Playing copyrighted music, are we, Bob? Goodbye. There we go. Alrighty. Oh my goodness, look at those. Damn, the God rays look so beautiful right there. Yeah, overall, it's a really, really pretty game. Goodbye, sir. Thank you very much for not killing me. Right, I'm gonna stop it right there. And we nearly got 69 FPS average. If you noticed, it was at 68, so close to perfection. Maybe overclock the card just a little bit to get the 69 average, and it's gonna be amazing. With that said, let's make it not amazing at 8K. 7680 by 4320 using the ultra settings preset or the whatever things, yes. And it is getting 21 frames. Okay, yeah, that's bad. Obviously, nobody expected it to be playable here at 8K resolution. But yeah, well, 20 FPS is 20 FPS. It's close to the cinematic experience, right? So maybe with some adjustments, it will get us 30 plus FPS, which will actually be playable. I'm gonna use like DLSS on performance because it usually looks really, really close to native resolution at 8K. And it's morning time in Saint Denis. Look at this. Let's go, Arthur. Okay. Ouch. Alright, so now we get very, very similar visuals, as I told you, as native 8K. It's kind of insane how DLSS performance is doing such a good job here at this huge resolution. This is basically 4 times 4K resolution, alright? It's not double 4K, it's 4 times 4K in terms of pixel count. And yeah, getting 40 FPS is pretty great. I would never play like this or recommend anyone to play like this because there's no need, right? 4K already looks really, really good, but this looks a little bit sharper, a little bit more detailed, even with performance DLSS. which is insane. And performance DLSS doesn't look bad at 8K resolution. It does look bad at like 4K, even on quality. It's a little bit rough, although not terrible, but you can notice some dots and some noise in the hair and fur and so on. So I don't recommend it, especially given that we got like 60 plus most of the time at 4K. But at 8K, it's totally necessary. This is so ugly right now with all of this fog, actually. This is the first time I'm calling this game ugly. I'm gonna load the previous game. Ah, beautiful sunny day once again. Those colors really pop right now. Okay, getting like 30s near the water. It's basically going to be the same thing everywhere, as I said, and as you saw as well in this video, because if you don't max out the water physics, it doesn't really drop too much near water. However, now I can actually tell quite a bit of a difference compared to like 4K resolution. The grass, the leaves are really detailed right now, guys. Really sharp compared to even 4K native. It's kind of insane. Alright, but it's getting 30-ish FPS, so I would never do this, right? It's just for fun at this point. Okay, so now for testing higher resolutions, we got a little bit of a problem. So I have it set to 8K resolution right here. Everything is down to the lowest settings. Alright, I manually set everything to the lowest. And the only way to test it at higher than 8K resolution is actually with the resolution scale option right here. And I can do 1.25 times, which is 10K resolution, 25% higher than 8K, but once we go to 1.5 times, it doesn't work anymore because we run out of VRAM and it doesn't allow us to apply it. So unfortunately, no 16K in this video, my friends, but we can test 10K, so let's do it. And here we have it. Look at the bugs actually flying over here. Interesting. They look like they're in 2D right now. And look at the textures on low. Absolutely terrible. But we're getting 30-ish FPS at 10K resolution, which is very intensive, and it actually drops into the 20s. So there's no point in doing this further, my friends. I'm sorry, okay? It's just for fun. I like to take a look at these things. Anyways, we got a cinematic 24 FPS sometimes. Beautiful. The water still looks decent, okay? Everything else looks very crappy, actually. And for some reason, we got like 4 or 5 shadows on our leashes. Is that what it's called? Leash? I don't know. Yeah, that's very weird. Alright, thanks very much for watching this video. That's been it. I can't really test DLSS. Oh my god, that's scary. With these resolution scaling settings. So, yeah, unfortunately, no DLSS performance here. But, yeah, who cares? Catch you in the next one very soon. Hope you enjoyed it. Love you all. Bye-bye.